This is why I say in the textbook for victims of white supremacy that there are no such thing as Americans or Asians or Africans on this planet right now. Not one. Why? Because in order to be an Asian, an African, or an American, you have to practice justice. If you don't practice justice, you cannot be an African, you cannot be an Asian, and you cannot be an American. Because these three words are synonymous with the word justice, if you're going to use logic. And so these are people who are yet to be produced. Everybody on the planet should be striving every day to be an American, to be an African, and to be an Asian, meaning a person that practices justice. Because if you don't practice justice, you don't even need a name or a title. In fact, you shouldn't even be breathing. That's an absolute duty. That's an absolute duty. If you have a system of non-justice in place, you want to see the evidence that the non-justice is no longer in place. The system of white supremacy is a system of non-justice. Now, the only way you can see evidence that non-justice is in place and that justice has replaced non-justice is for justice to replace non-justice. Not 1 minute before. Not a promise. That's just like a prisoner being in prison, and the warden keeps coming down year after year saying, I promise you, you'll be out of here in a little while. Well, what do you mean by a little while? Well, any moment now. But when I wake up, I'm still in the cell, year after year. So the only evidence that the warden is telling the truth is when he actually comes and turns the key. And I walk down the street and say, hey, I'm really out of there. I'm out of there. Now, that's the only way that I know that the warden is telling the truth. Otherwise, the warden is just entertaining me and himself. I have to believe that because this system of racism has been going on for a long time. I mean, presidents have come and gone who have said that they have wrestled with it and then threw up both hands and didn't know what to do. Okay? So you got a system that's pretty well entrenched.
Very well.
So seeing is believing. In other words, do it.
Don't
the white people out there within sound of my voice, you know how to do things. I mean, you know, many of you brag about being the smartest people that ever existed on the planet. So get smart and do that. And then take credit for having done something that nobody's ever done. Produce justice.